Happy Thursday, friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Walking Through Lent. We are continuing to walk through the season of Lent together, figuring out exactly what is Lent, what does it have to do with our friend Jesus, and then ultimately all that put together, what does Lent have to do with us? We're figuring that out slowly but surely every week together. So this week, we are going to do things the same way we've been doing them. We're going to read the actual scripture from the Bible. Then we are going to talk together, try to bring that scripture to life a little bit and relate it to more modern day things that we might see or do. Then we're going to discuss some questions, and you can pause this video and discuss those questions with your family, or you can keep watching and discuss those questions with me. I'll go through them with you. And then we have an at-home activity for you to do and an at-home coloring page for you to color if you feel like coloring. I love coloring. I think you should do it. So this week we are actually going to be talking about one of Miss Felicia's favorite Bible stories. Today we are going to meet a man called Lazarus, and we're also going to meet some of his family members called Mary and Martha, his sisters. We are going to talk about Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. So this story you can find in the Bible. Today we're going to read it from John 11, 3 through 6, and then we're going to skip ahead a little bit and read John 11, 17 through 44. So this reading this week is a little longer than maybe the past couple weeks, but I hope you guys will join me and do your very, very best at putting your super awesome, amazing listening ears on, and we are going to hear this truth this week. So like I said, we are in John 11, verses 3 through 6, and then we'll jump ahead and read verses 17 through 44 from John 11 as well. So let us begin. John 11, 3 through 6 says, "So the sisters sent a message to Jesus, 'Lord, he whom you love is ill.' But when Jesus heard it, he said, 'This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it.' When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now, Bethany was near Jerusalem, some 2 miles away, and many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them about their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and she met him, while Mary stayed at home. Martha said to Jesus, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him.' Jesus said to her, 'Your brother will rise again.' Martha said to him, 'I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day.' Jesus said to her, 'I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?' She said to him, 'Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world.' When she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary and told her privately, 'The teacher is here and is calling for you.' And when she heard it, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary get up quickly and go out. They followed her because they thought that she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she knelt at his feet and said to him, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.' When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her were also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. He said, 'Where have you laid him?' They said to him, 'Lord, come and see.' Jesus began to weep. So the Jews said, 'See how he loved him.' But some of them said, 'Could not he who opened the eyes of a blind man have kept this man from dying?' And then Jesus, again greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, 'Take away the stone.' Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, already there is a stench because he has been dead for 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus looked upward and said, "Father, I thank you for having heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I have said this for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth and his face unwrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." So guys, that is one of my most favorite stories in the Bible. I love the story of Lazarus. It's almost kind of a preview of the journey we are about to go on with our friend Jesus. But Jesus, with the power of God and the Holy Spirit, brought one of his good friends back to life. And we heard in that story, Jesus wept. Jesus cried in that story because he missed his friend. And God brought him back. How friggin' cool is that? It's really cool. So let's talk about it a little bit together. So Martha, let's talk about Martha and Mary, the sisters, for a second. Martha had some pretty big feelings to share with Jesus when he finally got to their house. Remember, she looked at Jesus and said, basically, "Jesus, if you had been here earlier, my brother wouldn't have died." That's a big feeling to carry in your heart, right? So Martha was already sharing some very big feelings with Jesus. She was sad her brother Lazarus died, and she really wished Jesus had been there to prevent his death. She said to Jesus again, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." That sounds like she could have been frustrated or disappointed maybe in Jesus. It hurts when someone is not there for you, when you need them. If you've ever counted on somebody to be at something and then they aren't there, that hurts. And it's okay to feel that hurt. People will feel disappointed when their loved ones are absent during important moments. Maybe one of your parents has had to miss something at your school. That was disappointing, right? Or maybe somebody that you loved a whole lot that's no longer with us on earth can't be there to see every cool thing you do. That can feel disappointing, and that's okay to feel. Families and friends don't always or can't always show up when we feel like they should. And sometimes they simply just can't be there. And it is okay to feel disappointed or maybe even angry in those situations. Even if we do totally understand why the person's missing, it still hurts that they are. Mary, remember, it's Martha and Mary, the two sisters. Mary also let Jesus know how she was feeling, right? He could see how sad she was. Jesus could sense how disappointed she was. She cried. Mary cried when she saw Jesus. And the Gospel of John says that Jesus saw her crying and it made Jesus feel deeply moved. It made something happen in his heart. Jesus understood her really big feelings and allowed her to share them freely. He didn't argue with her or tell her to stop crying. Jesus didn't try to explain to her why he had arrived late, why he wasn't able to get there before Lazarus passed away. Jesus didn't have excuses. Jesus cried. Just like Mary and Martha were crying, Jesus also cried. The Bible tells us Jesus wept. Being a good friend does not always mean that you make everybody feel better. Because like we said, sometimes people are going to be disappointed, people are going to feel things like anger, and those are okay things to feel. And being a good friend doesn't always mean we have to make our friends feel better. Jesus shows us it's possible to just be with somebody during their suffering. We welcome our friends' feelings, we welcome their words, we listen to their words, and we do what we can. We do our very best to show our friends compassion. And then, if we do have the power to make a difference, we act and we make a difference. So when we are the ones feeling alone at an important event like a birthday party or a wedding or a band concert, I want all of us to do our best to remember two important things from Jesus. First thing to remember, it is okay to be upset about it. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel big feelings. But I also want you to remember that God is still with you at all times. Even if you're so angry, all you want to do is scream. If you're so sad, you can barely catch your breath because you can't stop crying. If you're so excited, you can't even calm down. No matter what you're feeling, God is in there with you. Maybe in the middle of some of your big feelings, it doesn't always feel like God is there. But I promise, God's Spirit is with you. So the two biggest takeaways for this week. One, remember it's okay to have big feelings because even Jesus showed us that Jesus had really big feelings too. And then remember that even in the midst of those big feelings, even though some of them can feel super powerful and just feel bad, God is still with you. So those are the two really big things I want you to take away from this week. So that was it. That was today's devotional, or this week's devotional. So now let's explore today's devotional by asking questions, because asking questions is always healthy and wonderful, and I want to help teach you guys to ask great questions. So first question from today's story is, many people in this story that we read were feeling sad. How did they communicate that they were sad? Well, Martha and Mary just straight up told Jesus they were disappointed and frustrated. Remember, they told Jesus, if you hadn't taken so long to get here, my brother would still be alive. They were sharing their feelings through their words. So we saw people using their words to communicate their sadness. How else did they communicate that they were sad? They let each other see each other weep. They showed their emotion. They expressed their emotion. They were crying. They were weeping. If I see somebody crying or weeping, I'm probably going to assume they're sad and something bad or rough or whatever is happening in their life. So they communicated with their voices. They used their words, but they also communicated with their body language, right? They were all huddled together. They were sad. They were weeping. Jesus could tell they were sad. So our next question, who do you cry with when you need to share some tears? So we're all going to have big feelings, right? We're all going to have moments where we just want to cry because it's all we feel like we can do. And again, that's okay. But who do you cry with? Because sometimes our feelings can feel so big and our crying can feel so powerful. We need to bring somebody in to help us share these feelings. So if you're crying and if you just really need somebody to know how upset you are, who do you go to? Who do you cry with? Maybe if something sad has happened in your family, maybe you can cry with your parents. Maybe, or another family member. Maybe you guys can all share in that moment that we're all sad and we all need a good cry. I know me, sometimes when I really need a good cry, I have a couple friends that are my super, super closest, bestest friends. And I know if I call them, they are there to listen and hear me. And sometimes I've called them just to cry and I don't really say anything. And when I am able to get out is a blubbery mess, but they're still listening to me. And sometimes it just feels better to cry with someone, to know that you're not alone. So think about that. Who is somebody in your life you could cry with? Who's someone in your life that you not only can share all the big, wonderful feelings of the world with, but you can also share the disappointing, angry feelings with too? And then your next question is, who do you laugh with? So like I just said, there are lots of big feelings. Some of them are negative and sad and hurt, but some of them are big and exciting and awesome. So who do you share the good moments with? Who do you love to laugh with? I love laughing with my family. I love laughing with my almost husband. I love laughing with my friends. I love laughing. Miss Felicia loves laughing, okay? So I will laugh with anybody. I'll laugh with any of you. If you come here, I'll laugh with you. So who do you laugh with? Think about that. Who is somebody in your life that you share the really funny, exciting moments with? And then your next question is, what do you need for your family and friends to do when you feel sad? Maybe you need to talk. Maybe you need to sit quietly and have some time to yourself. Maybe you need to do something fun to cheer yourself up. I want you to think, what do you need from your family and friends when you're feeling really sad? Sometimes you need to ask them to give you some space, let you feel your feels. That's okay. Sometimes you need them to cheer you up because you are crying and you're like, oh man, I don't know if these tears are ever gonna stop. Someone please do something to make me laugh. That's okay. I want you to think about, what do I need from my friends, from my family when I am sad? I want you to think about those things right now in this moment when you're hopefully not sad. Because when you are sad in the future, because like it or not, we're gonna have times where we're a little sad. When you're in those moments, I want you to know who you can go to help you feel better or to help you express those big feelings in a healthy way. And then our last question is, have you ever wanted to help someone who felt sad, but you didn't know what to do? How can you share your love? That is a good question. Have you ever wanted to help somebody who was sad, but you just didn't know what to do? Well, in Miss Felicia's life, let's see, what's a time when somebody was sad and I just did not know what to do? Sometimes when you have a family member that's kind of sick or is going through something hard, whenever a family member is sick, it feels hard, right, to make them feel better because you don't really know what to do. You can't heal them. You can't take away their diseases. So sometimes if you see a family member who doesn't feel well, that can be kind of hard, right? Because you want to make them feel better, but how can you if you can't heal them and you can't make medicine? So how do you make them feel better? I think that is still a beautiful time to love somebody, even if you aren't sure what to do. So, for example, if I have a family member that's sick and I know that they're sad about being sick, I know that I am not a doctor or a magical healer. I can't heal them in any way. But what I do know is I think I'm kind of decent at making people laugh, or I can make that person feel loved by making them laugh, bringing them a moment of relief from their sadness or their sickness. You can bring them a get well soon balloon. Who doesn't get cheered up by a balloon? I don't know. So you could bring them a balloon. Even if somebody you love or care about is sick and you feel kind of powerless, or if they're just sad and you feel kind of powerless and you don't know how you can help them, one way to help them is to just do your very best thinking and think of a way to show them some love. And I can almost guarantee that even though it won't completely cure that person of their big feelings, it sure will help them feel like those big feelings are a comfortable place to be. So, thank you guys so much for having your very best listening ears on and listening to this week's lesson. I know this week's lesson was a little more, let's be honest, it was a little more sad than usual. But we're talking about it because it's okay. It is okay to have big feelings. It's okay to have sad feelings, angry feelings, disappointed feelings. The same way it's okay to feel excitement and joy and enthusiasm. The same way it's okay to feel all those really wonderful feelings, it's completely okay to feel the not so wonderful feelings as well. I want you guys to know that because that helps you become healthy. So just remember that. So thank you so much for listening. As always, we have a take home or do at home activity this week. This week, your activity is a family feelings chart. So this story that we talked about today, like we've said, this story is full of feelings. So I invite you as a family to read through the story again and act out the feelings that you notice along the way. Because guess what? Everyone has feelings. And it's good to share those feelings, especially with the people we trust and we love. Sometimes we can use words to show our feelings. Other times our bodies and our faces can communicate our feelings. So I'm wondering if you can think of other ways to communicate your feelings with those around you. And then this family feelings chart is going to help you guys do that. So if you want this week's stay at home or do at home activity, as well as a fun little coloring sheet to go along with this lesson, all you got to do is sign up for that family newsletter. As always, just email me at youth@stfrancisgreensboro.org and I will get you signed up on that family newsletter. Or if you just really want the take-home activity, I can send it to you. Either way, the at-home, take-home, whatever we want to call it this week, activities are found in our Thursday family newsletter. It goes out on Thursday evenings or afternoons. So if you want to be signed up for that, just let me know. In the meantime, it was a gift to get to spend a little time with y'all through this screen. So I hope you all have the best rest of your weeks. I hope you make good choices. I hope you enjoy the spring weather. And I hope you have a really, really wonderful rest of your day and night. And I will see you back here next week as we continue to journey through Lent together. Have a wonderful week, you guys.